The cicadas hum like background static as the late afternoon sun pours gold over our pasture. It's the kind of heat that sticks to your skin and settles deep into your bones. I wipe the sweat from my brow with the back of my hand and glance at the old red barn, now dressed with strings of lights and rows of folding chairs. Tonight's the night. My dad's retirement party. 30 years as a state trooper and not a single disciplinary mark. That kind of service deserves more than cake and a handshake at the station. It deserves music. Smoke from the grill. Laughter. A community coming together. That's what we do out here on this slice of land, our land, just on the edge of a suburban sprawl that doesn't know what to make of a black family who owns 14 acres and a barn older than the neighborhood HOA itself. Dante, the caterers are asking if they can park near the fence line. My wife calls from the porch, her voice light but tinged with urgency. I give her a thumbs up and jog toward her, boots crunching on gravel. Let M. That old lady next door might pitch a fit, but what's new? We both laugh, but there's a tightness beneath it. As we know. Ever since we moved here 6 years ago, there's been something. A slow, simmering tension that simmers just beneath the manicured lawns and welcome home doormats. The HOA president, Mrs. Charlene Whitmore, never says anything outright, of course. Not to our faces. But the emails come like clockwork. Reminder. Livestock smells should be mitigated. Barn events require prior notice to the board. Per HOA guidelines, no more than 10 cars should be parked on residential properties at any time. 10 cars. Tonight we've got 30 guests. All law enforcement officers. All of them family. Charlene lives across the cul-de-sac, just beyond the hedge we planted for privacy. She's been peeking through the slats of her white plantation blinds all week, watching as we set up lights, test the speakers, prep the grill. She even came by yesterday uninvited, arms folded, eyes scanning our setup like she was the sheriff. You know, Dante, she said, voice dripping with practiced politeness, we do have rules here. This isn't a farm town. I smiled, cool and slow. Well, Charlene, good thing it is a farm. And I've got permits if that's what you're worried about. She blinked like I'd slapped her. Tonight she'll hear soul music thumping through her triple-glazed windows. She'll see off-duty troopers in uniform laughing and hugging my father. And something tells me she won't like it. Not one bit. But for now the sun dips low. The grill hisses. A breeze picks up, rustling the pine trees. My dad steps onto the porch in his pressed button-down, and for a moment all is right. I don't know yet that within 2 hours, blue lights will flash across our lawn. And someone will be yelling into a 911 call. There's a disturbance. A suspicious gathering. I feel unsafe. And I'll be forced to remind this neighborhood, just who they called the cops on. Starts with a flicker. Just as the first guests begin to arrive, boots stomping dust from the driveway, old troopers clapping my dad on the back and cracking jokes that echo down the pasture. The speakers cut out for a second. A soft pop. Then silence. I glance toward the barn. Malik, my cousin and our makeshift DJ for the night, shrugs from behind the turntables. Power surge, he mouths. I check the generator. Everything looks fine. The main breaker box by the barn is untouched. Strange, but maybe the system's just overloaded. I let it go. The music returns, a smooth soul groove sliding across the evening air as the sun begins to bleed orange into the sky. My dad's in the center of it all, laughing with his old partner from highway patrol. For a man who's seen his fair share of trauma on the job, it's good to see that light in his eyes again. But then I notice it. A white SUV parked across the street. Engine running. Windows just low enough to reveal a familiar sharp nose and bobbed blonde hair. Charlene. She's got her phone in her hand, resting it against the steering wheel like a loaded gun. Her eyes flick from the barn to the driveway to the line of cars that now stretches along the roadside. She's not smiling. She's counting. Dante, my wife murmurs, appearing at my side. She's been sitting there since the music cut out. I nod, heart sinking. I think she called someone. No way to prove it, I mutter, but even as I say it, I feel the knot tighten in my stomach. A low hiss creeps under the music. The lights strung around the barn dim, then flicker back on. Another surge. This time I sprint to the breaker box and find it closed, but slightly off its hinge, like someone's touched it recently. I scan the yard. Everyone's smiling, oblivious, talking and laughing. But I'm not. I'm looking for footprints. Signs of intrusion. Something to tell me this isn't just bad luck. Nothing. When I turn back, the SUV is gone. She doesn't need to be seen. She's already done her damage. Because now every laugh feels a little forced. Every flicker of the light sets off alarms in my brain. I can't prove she's messing with the power. Can't prove she called someone. But I know Charlene. I know the look in her eye, that tight-lipped smile hiding years of practiced politeness and a deep, unspoken belief that we don't belong here. Not with our music. Not with our friends. Not with our black joy spilling over the fence line into her curated suburb. The party goes on. But the air has changed. There's a storm coming. I can feel it in my bones. I don't go to Charlene's house right away. I wait. Wait until the music cuts out again. This time mid-chorus, like someone yanked the cord on joy itself. Wait until a few of the troopers glance around, uneasy, drinks paused halfway to their lips. Wait until my mother leans in and whispers, "Dante, this doesn't feel like a coincidence anymore." Then I go. The sun is nearly down, casting long shadows across the cul-de-sac as I cross the street. My boots echo on the concrete. Deliberate, slow, a warning and a statement all in one. I knock twice on the door of the immaculate two-story house with the triple-pane windows and stone facade, a house that looks like it was born out of a brochure for neighborhood excellence. Charlene answers in a pale cardigan and pearls, like she's hosting book club. "Oh, Dante," she says, tilting her head in that way that always feels just shy of condescending. "Can I help you with something?" "I think you already have," I say. "You been messing with my breaker?" Her eyebrows arch high. "Excuse me." The lights. The music. Power's been flickering all night. Funny thing is, it only happens when you're parked out front. She crosses her arms. "Are you accusing me of something?" "I'm asking if you know anything about it." "I have no idea what goes on in your barn," she says, drawing out the last word like it tastes bad. "But I do know that you're in violation of several HOA codes. Noise. Parking. Event size. There are regulations in place for a reason." I laugh, low and bitter. "This is my land, Charlene. And we've got permits. You saw the email." He waves it off. "The board didn't approve a party. We approved a family gathering. What I see out there is a public disturbance. You've got uniformed men drinking, loud music, vehicles blocking access." "They're retired officers," I snap. "You know that." "But the public doesn't," she says smoothly. "And you must admit from the outside it's hard to tell the difference." There it is. Hard to tell the difference. Between what? A party and a riot? She doesn't say it. But I hear it loud and clear. Back at the barn, I pull Malik aside and tell him to check the security feed from the camera we installed 2 months ago after someone left an anonymous note in our mailbox about unsightly gatherings. "A coincidence," Charlene said. "The feed shows someone crouching near the breaker box. White hoodie, slim build. Face turned away, but the license plate of the SUV is visible as it pulls off. Siern 1. She's so bold she personalized her plates." "Got her," Malik mutters. I nod. "Send it to me." 10 minutes later, I'm back at the party, pacing the edge of the barn when 2 police cruisers roll up slow, lights flashing red and blue across the field. And just like that, the music stops for good. I meet them halfway, hands visible, heart pounding, but not from fear. From fury. One of the officers steps out. Young. Nervous. Pale as notebook paper. "We received a 911 call about a large, suspicious gathering. Reports of possible trespassing, noise violations, unregistered guests." Before he can finish, a voice booms from the barn. "Officer Vargas?" my dad says, stepping forward in his dress blues. "Is that you?" The young cop's eyes widen. "Captain Lewis?" My father smiles coldly. "Retired as of today. But yes. You called this in?" "No, sir," he stammers. "We were dispatched." The second cruiser door opens. And out steps Charlene, arms folded, smug smile locked in. "I told them it was an urgent matter," she says. "There were too many unknowns. I was simply acting in the interest of community safety." "You called 911 on a retirement party?" my dad asks, incredulous. "They didn't identify it as such," she replies, eyes narrowing. "All I saw were strange cars, loud music, and men in uniform drinking. In today's climate, that's a recipe for disaster." "Strange cars." I echo. You mean black cars? Black people? Her smile falters for a second. I didn't say that. No. But you didn't have to. The guests gather near the barn, whispering. Tension thickens the air like a storm front. My father's old colleagues form a loose half-circle behind him. Men and women who've worn badges for decades now watching this woman try to criminalize celebration. Charlene folds her arms tighter. The HOA board will be hearing about this. Trust me. Oh, I say, stepping forward, holding up my phone. They'll hear everything. And I press play on the video. Charlene doesn't flinch at first. The video plays, silent security footage showing the white SUV parked across the street, the figure creeping through the shadows toward our breaker box, crouching just out of the barn light. Then the SUV pulling off. License plate glowing. CR1. So she doesn't budge. Just gives me that tight-lipped smirk she's worn like armor since the first day we moved in. This proves nothing, she says, voice light. Anyone could have tampered with your box. It's dark. The figure is unidentifiable. But the car isn't, I say calmly. That's your license plate, Charlene. A coincidence, she snaps, her smile cracking slightly. I drive a white SUV, so do half the women in this neighborhood. And just because a car is in frame doesn't mean it was me who got out of it. The officers exchange looks. Vargas glances at my dad, clearly uncomfortable. The tension between professionalism and reality stretches thin. This isn't just a noise complaint anymore. It's sabotage. It's harassment. And she knows it. You think you're going to win some moral victory here? She says, louder now, gesturing toward the crowd of onlookers gathering behind us. Because you threw a party with uniforms and badges and music? Because you've turned this street into a carnival? It's a retirement party, I say, still calm. You knew that. Charlene laughs, dry and high-pitched. This isn't about parties, Dante. It's about rules, order, structure. We built this neighborhood on standards. We invested in a certain kind of community. You mean a white kind? Her face tightens. Don't twist my words. I don't have to. They twist themselves. I see it in her eyes, that last gasp of privilege, of control. The moment she realizes her usual tactics aren't working. Not here. Not now. Not surrounded by 30 retired troopers, including a black man she called suspicious just an hour ago. She lifts her chin, shifting her tone. Polished. Performative. I made a call based on my concern for the community, she says to the officers. As the HOA president, I have a duty to. You don't, I interrupt. Because we're not under HOA jurisdiction. Dead silence. Charlene blinks. What? This land. This barn. Our driveway even. None of it falls within your little neighborhood map. My parents made sure of it when they bought the property. We're grandfathered out. Her lips part. That's not possible. You attend meetings. You receive updates. By courtesy, not obligation. Behind me, my dad steps forward and pulls a folder from his coat. Here's the original deed. Boundary survey. County records. If you'd like to contest it, take it up with the zoning commission. He hands it to Officer Vargas, who flips through it, nods slowly and whistles. She's right, he says, glancing at Charlene. This property predates the HOA. They're not in your jurisdiction. The color drains from Charlene's face. Just a bit. You've been threatening my family with bylaws that don't apply, I say. Harassing us under the guise of community concern. And tonight you called the police, on a gathering of law enforcement officers, after sabotaging our power. That's not just petty. It's criminal. Her voice rises in desperation now. You can't prove I touched that breaker. That video is grainy. This is slander. No, says a voice from the crowd. Everyone turns. It's Mrs. Rios, our neighbor on the other side, an older woman who rarely says much. She steps forward, phone in hand. I saw you walk across the street, she says. I was on my porch. You knelt by their power box. I even took a picture because I thought, well, maybe you were doing them a favor. But I see now. She lifts her phone. The screen shows a time-stamped photo of Charlene hunched beside our barn. Second blow. Charlene looks around. No more allies. No more smug smile. Her perfect world is caving in around her, and for the first time she seems small. Officer Vargas steps forward. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to stay put. We're going to file a report. This may constitute evidence tampering and false reporting. Her mouth opens then closes. The crowd is watching. The music's still off, but now the hum of justice buzzes louder than any speaker could. Charlene stares at the photo like it's a gun pointed at her. For a few seconds she doesn't speak. Just stands there trembling beneath that cardigan, her armor unraveling thread by thread. Then it happens. No. This is outrageous, she screams, turning on Mrs. Rios with venom. You don't even like them. You said their music kept you up last summer. Mrs. Rios doesn't flinch. I said it was loud. I never said they didn't have a right to play it. Charlene's voice trembles, the pitch cracking now. This whole thing is a setup. They're ganging up on me. That footage could be doctored and she's probably lying. You think I'm just going to let you slander me in front of my entire neighborhood? No one's slandering you, I say, stepping forward. We're just holding up a mirror. I pull out my own phone and tap on a new clip. Malik stitched it together just minutes ago. A neat timeline. Charlene's SUV parking. Her crouching by the barn. The breaker shutting off. The music dying. Her SUV pulling away. But there's more. I swipe to the next video. A screen recording of an HOA email blast Charlene sent 2 days ago, forwarded to me by one of the newer neighbors, Celeste, who's been quietly supportive since we moved in. We must remain vigilant, it reads. There are certain, non-traditional elements threatening the character of our neighborhood. Please keep your eyes open. Noise, gatherings, and unusual traffic should be reported immediately. Non-traditional elements, I read aloud. That's how you say black people without saying black people, isn't it? Charlene flushes beet red. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean, Charlene? My dad says quietly. You've called the city on us for unauthorized construction when we replaced the barn's siding. You've left notes about unregistered guests when our nieces visited. You've filed noise complaints on barbecues that ended by 9 p.m. You patrol this street like a self-appointed overseer. That's not true, she snaps. I'm just doing my job. The job the community voted me into. Then why did the HOA board meet without you last month? Someone in the crowd calls. It's Jamal, another homeowner, biracial and quiet until now. He steps forward holding up his phone. We've been tired of your behavior, Charlene. The surveillance. The condescending emails. We tried to be patient. But when you started threatening to fine people for decorations and barking dogs, people you don't even have jurisdiction over, it crossed a line. Charlene spins around, her eyes wide. You were at that meeting. I called that meeting, Jamal says. And we voted to remove you as president. What? She chokes. You can't just remove me. We already did. She gasps, stumbling back as if struck. Her voice is shrill now, desperate. This is a witch hunt. You're all against me because I enforce rules. No, I say. We're against you because you enforce bias. Then a car pulls into the cul-de-sac. Unmarked. Out steps a woman in a tailored suit with a leather briefcase and a badge clipped to her hip. Excuse me, she says, approaching the officers. Detective Alvarez, County Precinct. I was forwarded a complaint regarding criminal mischief and false reporting tied to a prior pattern of racially motivated harassment. Charlene freezes. You called them? I didn't, I say. The department did. Detective Alvarez turns to her. We've received multiple prior reports from residents in this area that align with your name and property. Mr. Green's footage and Ms. Rios' testimony fit into an escalating pattern. We'll be reviewing it all. You may be facing charges. Charlene's eyes dart between us, panicked. You people are making a mistake. I've lived here for 15 years. I built this community. No, Jamal says. You ruled it. Alvarez signals to Officer Vargas, who gently steps in beside Charlene. Ma'am, you're not under arrest at this time, he says, but we are asking you to come with us for questioning. I'm not going anywhere, she shouts, backing away. This is a setup. They're lying. They're all lying. Then her heel catches on the curb and she stumbles, almost falls, before catching herself. It's the most human she's looked all night. For a heartbeat, just a woman watching her kingdom crumble. And no one steps in to catch her. The crowd doesn't jeer, doesn't mock. They just watch, a silent verdict hanging in the air. Because everyone here saw what happened. Everyone knows. She tries to protest again, but the words die in her throat as she sees phones raised, cameras recording, the world around her collapsing into public record. And that's the moment she realizes. There's no coming back from this. Charlene's house went dark the next morning. No porch light. No sprinkler hum. No white SUV in the driveway. Just silence and a crumpled "for sale by owner" sign lying half-faced on her lawn by sunset. Word spreads fast when someone like Charlene falls. By Monday, the local Facebook group is flooded with clips of the confrontation, blurry screenshots of the license plate, and a still from the security footage that's since gone mildly viral. Her silhouette kneeling by the barn, caught red-handed beneath the moonlight. Comments range from stunned disbelief to seething condemnation. Always knew something was off about her. She once fined me for having Halloween lights in November. Imagine calling the cops on cops. She's not arrested, yet. But Alvarez confirms charges are pending. Tampering with a breaker box? That's criminal mischief. Filing a false police report? Another count. And since the HOA had no legal jurisdiction over our home, her prior fines and threats are being reviewed. Several neighbors begin talking about a class action suit. By Thursday, she's gone. Packed up. Moved out. Her fortress dismantled in a quiet flurry of boxes and silence. But that's not the end of the story. Because something changes after she's gone. You feel it in the air, in how people wave a little longer, not a little slower. Our next-door neighbor, Mr. Patel, who used to glance away when I jogged past, stops one evening and says, "I'm sorry." I pause. For what? For not saying anything, he admits. I saw the way she treated your family. We all did. I guess. I just didn't want to get involved. I don't let him off the hook. But I nod. Because part of justice isn't just about punishment. It's about recognition. About seeing the truth and naming it. That weekend my dad throws another party. Same barn. Same lights. This time the power doesn't go out. This time the neighborhood shows up, not just the retirees but everyone. People bring dishes, lawn chairs, even folding tables. Jamal grills ribs. Celeste brings sweet tea. And Mrs. Rios? She dances. No sirens. No citations. Just music, laughter, and for once, peace. Toward the end of the night, I stand at the edge of the barn, watching kids chase each other with glow sticks and my mom swaying to Luther Vandross in the middle of the floor. My dad walks over, places a hand on my shoulder. "You good?" he asks. I nod. Yeah. Because I am. We didn't just survive Charlene. We exposed her. We turned her weapon, fear, into light. We made them see. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Justice didn't come with handcuffs. It came with truth. With voices raised. With neighbors standing up instead of stepping back. And maybe the next time someone tries to pull what Charlene did, this neighborhood, this country, will remember the night a black family stood in their barn and said enough. The music swells. The barn pulses with joy. And for the first time since we moved in, it truly feels like home.